Happy New Year, YouTube world. Let's get the new year started by telling you all the products I loved in 2021, which was a very weird year for me because I wasn't home the whole year and I traveled a lot, and so I didn't have my entire collection with me. And so I'm really going to try to be conscientious of what I really will recommend to you in terms of my favorites. So it's not going to be an exhaustive list, I don't think. So let's just get started. To make this easier, and if it's helpful in terms of like what you're looking for in particular, maybe a specific recommendation, I will add timestamps below as to the categories. So first off is probably the most exhaustive category, which is face products, particularly base foundations. I feel like I really discovered some beautiful, beautiful products, and I use them and I love them, and they're all very different in texture, but they just yielded the same results, which is me loving the look of my skin. So I will be remiss if I don't mention the Stila Balm. This one here, I have the shade 2. This is the Tinted Moisturizer Skin Balm. I have whole videos on this. I will link them below. But this guy here, I started off the year really using this and loving it, and I kind of forgot about it because I didn't include it in my travel bag. But I'm back in the winter to loving it and using it, and it's such a beautiful product. And I know that Tati recommends this in other shades so that you can actually contour and bronze with it, which I think is a great idea. I have not tried it yet myself, but I really just love this product. I love the way it makes my skin look, and it's not for everyone, but if you have dry skin and you are looking for something that just makes you glow, this is the product. It sits so nicely on my skin, and I really can't recommend it enough. So this is number one product for the start of the year. I think then quickly in the summer, when I was traveling so much to Florida to see my family, I transitioned to a lot of skin tints, and there were 3 that I can't really choose between them. But if you're gonna make me choose, I'm gonna tell you which one, simply because of the packaging. So the first one is the Sunshine Skin Tint by Milk. I love this one. I even love the packaging because it's this roller ball kind of thing, and you just rub it everywhere. And it has the most beautiful light to medium coverage, but it just blends with the skin so well. But the one that I was using all year long eventually just stopped working. The clicker stopped working. So I do think there's some packaging flaws with this one. So I will caution you in that regard. I know that they recently came out with a different packaging where they sell refills for the product. So maybe they finally addressed it. I still have one more of the old packaging, and so I'm going to get through it. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but when it happens, it's so heartbreaking. They're like clicking, and it's terrible. Another one that is a beautiful product but terrible packaging is this one by NUDESTIX here. This is the Tinted Cover Foundation. Again, light, maybe medium coverage, but mostly light coverage. It's beautiful. It takes a bit to find the right shade for you. I wear nude 3, which right now probably might be a tiny bit too dark. I'd probably want to go for 2.5, but it's a beautiful formula. My issue is that it shouldn't be a terrible like component, but it's so messy, and that now like the pump doesn't even work. And if I want product, I'm gonna have to squeeze it, and it comes out of the side here. I mean, it's so stupid. Like, get this right. And it's not an inexpensive product. It's actually one of the more expensive skin tints. I do buy it on sale because I can't stomach the price of it. I want to say it's something crazy like $42 or $38 for not a lot of product, but it is a beautiful product. So if you like that fresh, light skin tint, this is it. But the one that I'm going to have to say won my heart is by Smashbox, and it's the Halo Tinted Moisturizer, this one here. I actually have two colors and I mix them together. I have Fair Light and Light Neutral. Fair Light is a little too light for me, and the Fair or Light Neutral is a little too deep for me. In the summer months, I can definitely just wear the light neutral, and who knows, we'll see in you know, January at some point, maybe February, if I get so pale that this one will work for me. But for right now, I mix them two. It's a very gel-like formula, and I find that it doesn't accentuate your pores. It doesn't sink into the skin, and like, it just meshes with the skin really nicely, at least with my skin. I have a problem that with a lot of popular serum light tint foundations, they just fill in my pores and they just look like piles of pores, and it almost like highlights the pore itself. This one doesn't do that, and none of the ones I recommended here do that. Some of the ones that do that, when I think of it, like the Uoma famous like serum foundation that everyone loves, I could not get that to work for me. I could not get the Fenty skin tint to work for me. It looked awful. There's a lot of them out there that if they're too thin and watery, the Kosas foundation, terrible on me, the oil one. All of those just kind of accentuate every single line, every single pore, and like do this puddling effect, and I can't get it to look good, even if using like a pore filling primer. These don't do that to me, and for that reason, I love them. I think they're a great value. You can get them on sale all the time on Smashbox, and I just think it's a wonderful product. And hello, component, you win for component, because it's so easy to shake up, squeeze out. It's awesome. I love it. By the way, if you're curious about this face thing I have going on, I will be posting a Chatty Get Ready with me where I put this kind of look together, which I'm pretty excited about, pretty happy about using all these products. The last mention I will do is for a powder foundation, and it's actually 3 different powder foundations. Just find one that works for you, but it's the brand. It's actually Laura Geller. I was so pleasantly surprised by this product. It is beautiful. I've never really gotten along, not since I was a teenager when I used like Studio Fix by MAC. I haven't really gotten along with powder foundations. I just think they really age me. They make my skin look super dry, and I just don't love them. But I'm a member of a Facebook group, and someone was really raving about this product and how beautifully it sits in the skin and wears throughout the day. And especially if you're wearing a mask, you know, some of these skin tints and things like that, they will melt off your face with all that heat coming from the mask. And so I was in search of something that would stay a bit more put. And yeah, I gave Laura Geller a real shot, and boy, did I dive in. I have all 3 powder formulas of hers, all three. I have the Baked, Balance, and Brighten. I have the Baked, Balance, and Glow, and I have the Double Take Baked Versatile Powder Foundation. I wear the color Fair right now, but I also have it in Light, and I have a feeling like Light will be my summer shade. But these powders feel incredible. They just feel incredible. It's a baked formula, and it does not look heavy on the skin. And sure enough, that recommendation by that individual was absolutely correct in that these are the 3 finishes. So this is the higher coverage foundation, this is the Glow, and this is the Brighten. And all 3 are beautiful. I can't really tell which one I love more yet. I think if you're looking for a light coverage with some really pretty sheen, go for the Glow. If you still want that light coverage, but you want it to be a bit more of a satin finish, go with the Balance and Brighten. And if you're looking for a tiny bit more coverage, go for that fuller coverage powder. All three though are really, really gorgeous, and I am so impressed. And I think everyone should know about this. It shouldn't be just for people who watch QVC and wonder about Laura Geller or something. I don't know. I don't know why more people don't talk about Laura Geller, because this is a fantastic product. For more than half the year, I was struggling with a lot of melasma. I will show a picture of myself right here with no makeup or anything. You can see a lot of darkness on my cheeks, and it was pretty intense, and I was very self-conscious about getting my makeup done. And when I was using these tinted moisturizing products, they weren't really covering that darkness. In fact, sometimes I felt like they highlighted that, until I found this product here. So this is from NARS. It is, for some reason, a difficult product to come across. I don't know why that is. This is the Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. I use the shade Light, and it is a light peachy color corrector, which we know there are plenty of color correctors out there. Pixie has one, Becca has one, Bobbi Brown, a ton of companies have peachy color correctors. But for some reason, this one was super light and didn't add any thickness to my skin. So here I'm recommending all of these like lightweight foundations, right? These tinted moisturizers, BB creams, all that stuff. What's lovely about those products is they don't add a lot of heaviness to the skin. So your skin is very like skin-like. And if you like that natural, more natural look, which I prefer, you know, you don't want to add anything like a heavy concealer is just going to detract from that. And it's going to look very obvious. Something about this is incredible. It has a thinness, yet it has the coverage, and it's able to really cover up that, and you can still use those lighter weight products and get coverage. And that's how I really survived the rest of the year dealing with this melasma, as I've been dedicating myself to treating the melasma, and it has lightened significantly, and I really am happy with the treatment. But in the midst of that treatment working, I had to find a way to cover it. And this is the way that made me happiest. And I just had to share that with everyone. Blush and bronzer, those type of steps are some of my favorites. I just feel like that's the step that often just changes your face, transforms it, brings it to life in a way that even foundation doesn't. Like if I had to skip the foundation step, I would. But would I skip blush? Absolutely not. Would I skip bronzer? No. I love that added glow. I love what that warmth does to my skin. Probably start with my most used. I have been trying to pan this, but it would be silly for me not to mention it. This is Hourglass. So this is the palette that I have. This is an ambient palette, volume 4 from a holiday edition. I don't care about this palette in particular. I just want to speak to the quality of the powders. So beautiful. There is a reason Hourglass is Hourglass. Their powders are gorgeous. I love this bronzer. I love the way it goes on the skin. I love the way it kind of ages with my skin as the day continues. I love both of these blushes. I love all of these powders, including the highlighter, and I'm not a highlighter person, but they're just beautiful. And so if you have it in your budget to try a palette from Hourglass, I just think they're beautiful and they're a great value compared to like a single product of theirs. I think is like $40. That's crazy. So at least with a palette, yes, it might be $80, or if you could get it on sale, which you often can, it could be like $68. You're getting 6 powders. That's pretty good when you break it down, and that you're going to use all of those products. And I find that the shades are pretty universal. I know they've gotten a lot of flack about just their skin tone, their range that they have for skin tones. I think they're trying a little bit better to address that, but I do think that a lot of their powders are universal. The highlighters, a lot of their blush colors. So, and their ambient light powders too, they're kind of like translucent and they really just sit really beautifully on the skin. I think the bronzer is really the one that you have to have deeper colors for it to really show up as a bronzer, and that's what they really should be addressing, expanding, I think, their bronzer range. But I do think their blushes and other ambient setting powders are just gorgeous. So I want to make mention of that. I just have really fallen in love again with Hourglass just by using that nearly on the daily to try to hit pan, and I have cracked into some of those shades, so I'm almost there. A palette that came into my life pretty late in the game is this one from Charlotte Tilbury, Nudegasm. I had no intention of picking this up, none whatsoever, but when I was in Sephora during the sale, I picked this up because I was able to swatch it live in person, and it is so beautiful. I cannot believe how beautiful it is. I can use all of these powders. They are gorgeous. They are not glittery. They don't, detract from your own kind of beauty. And it's just gorgeous. So that you can get these 4 powders in this palette, I would recommend picking it up. I think it's still available. It is well worth the money. It's the first time I've ever purchased one of these kind of larger palettes from Charlotte Tilbury, and I am so deeply impressed. Those are the 2 like face palettes that I've really been enjoying. For singles, I only have one bronzer recommendation, and that is from Physicians Formula. It is the Butter Coffee bronzer, this one here. This one is so pretty, but what I really love is the scent, and I am not someone who is a fan of scented products, but this one smells like coffee, but like delicious coffee. And I want all my makeup to smell like delicious coffee. I don't know what it is. It's just amazing. I love it. And the color is really pretty. It had this overspray here, but I find that the bronzer shade itself is just really beautiful for probably fair to light skin tones. There are some other colors in the line that are a bit deeper, but this one I would say for fair to light skin tones, and I really love it. I will say that the powder itself is a little bit more powdery than previous Physician Formula butter bronzers. Like if you're familiar with the original butter bronzer, which I've gone through 2 of them in my lifetime, so I'm pretty familiar with that product. And I will say, like, this one feels a little bit more powdery, but it blends into the skin really nicely and it's beautiful. So I would recommend it. The next 4 items are all blushes, and they do follow a theme. I have fallen in love with blushes that provide a little bit of oomph, a little bit of a sheen, a glow. Since I don't really use a lot of highlight, it's just not the step for me. I do love my blush to have a bit of that glow. We're gonna go from the least glowy product to the most glowy product. The first one I would recommend is by Bobbi Brown. I hadn't really used any of Bobbi Brown's blushes. This one here is the Illuminating Bronzing Powder, which is a weird name for this because it is a blush and it is in the shade Antigua. It is pink. It's a pink blush. I don't know why they say it's a bronzing powder, but it's such a beautiful shade. It's just gorgeous. And it just has this delicate sheen to it. Again, terrible marketing because it's not a bronzing powder, and maybe that's why, I don't know if anyone is talking about this, but I would really look into this line. They have some really beautiful kind of shades that make you look like you're glowing from within. And that one there, I mean, like, you could just see it has no glitter whatsoever, but it's just this beautiful, delicate sheen. And I think this color actually would look beautiful on a lot of skin tones. So that one there, I recommend. The next one up is by BareMinerals. Now, I tried to find this product places and it's gone. I think they realized they made a mistake also in marketing. Terrible marketing. This is called a Blonzer because it was supposed to be a bronzer and blush combined, and it's this color here. This is Kiss of Copper. They had 2 other shades, and they even came out one for the holidays in a palette that was different. And I just think it was a marketing disaster because this is not a bronzer in any way, shape, or form. That's this color here. It's this gorgeous nudish peach color. It's really, really beautiful. It sits on the skin beautifully. I hope they bring it back. I hope they bring it back as a glowy blush, which is really what it is, and that they expand the line because I just think it's so beautiful. But it was a discovery this year and I love it. I love it. It's a very unique shade in my collection. The next up is by Catrice. This is called the Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush. This is beautiful. I have no idea what made me pick this up. I'm not that familiar with Catrice in general, but this is a baked blush that just reminded me so much of NARS Orgasm, which I don't have, but I've had in the past. It just has that glowy, peachy gold flip to it. It's really beautiful. You get a ton of product, and let me swatch it for you. Like, look at that there. So you can see kind of the difference between all 3 that I'm recommending. It's so beautiful. I don't think they have very many colors in this. This one is in Blooming Hibiscus, but I just think it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and it's a great value blush. It's beautiful, just beautiful. And last but not least, this was a limited edition, but I think I'm recommending more of the formula, which I know that is something that they have in their line, and it's from MAC. This is the Extra Dimension Blush, and again, this one's limited edition. This was from the Blossoms collection, the Cherry Blossom collection earlier this year, and this is Dilly Dolly. I love this color, but I really love this formula. So that's this formula here. It is almost like a highlighter. I mean, look at it. It's very, very highlighty. So this one is much more highlighty, glowy, but I love the color. It's like this baby doll pink with a bit of lilac and a beautiful flip to it. So you see all of these have a lot of glow with different intensity, but I just think they're beautiful. In fact, I'm gonna put some of this Dilly Dolly on. I think that they have this blush in different, oh, you see, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you can use a very, very light hand and it doesn't look as blingy as it does when I swatch it. Because obviously when you're swatching, you are putting a pretty intense amount in a concentrated area, so it looks a little much, but this, it just has such a pretty sheen to it. I love it. I would definitely explore this product in the future. Love to see it in like more of a melon color and things like that. I haven't explored too much, but I bet there's just some really beautiful colors. So those are my recommendations for blush and bronzer. Next up is lip products. This is by far the toughest category for me. I think the next tough one will be eyeshadows, eyeshadow palettes. But I love lip products. I love nourishing lip products. And so you will certainly see that as a trend in my recommendations. I will link videos down below to my talking about some of these products. I think there's a couple, 2 in particular, that I have a dedicated video on. So I will definitely link that down below. But let's just get started. I'll go from kind of the lightest coverage to the richest coverage. First off are the Flower Beauty CBD lip glosses. it's these here. I completed one of them. I hit pan on it, the one that is blue in color, but it's actually clear. These are so gorgeous. These are called Chill Out Lip Glazes. They're just stunning. They will go with anything. Mainly they are clear, but they have a bit of color. They have different finishes. This one's more metallic. This one has more kind of glimmer to it. This one's a little bit milkier. This one's more clear. I mean, there's a lot of finishes, even though the range is just 6 shades, but the product is gorgeous. If you do not like lip gloss because you think they're too thick or gloopy, these are not thick and gloopy. These are nourishing and beautiful, and I just love them. And I will link the video below where I swatch all of the shades on my lips so that you can see. But those are unbelievable, unbelievable. Next up in coverage, very similar in that they are very hydrating, feel like they are doing something for you, is by Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Kisser Luscious Lip Balm. That's these here. I have it in Cocoa Drizzle and Pinch Me. I don't think they have a lot of colors in this, but these are beautiful as well. They're just super luscious, and I love the scent. It's a soft vanilla scent, and they give you shine and color, and they just feel buttery on the lips. They really feel buttery and nourishing on the lips, and I just think they're wonderful. Really, really wonderful. I think that they are far superior to the very popular product in their line, the gloss bombs. I think these are better. They're certainly better for me. They're really up my alley. The next one I have not talked about, and I can't find my 5th shade of it. I have, you know, I love a product when I purchase many, many shades of the product. And in this case, I purchased every single shade they make. And this product is by Illuminating. It's actually their Hydra Lip Tint. And it's these lip tints that have a different color kind of in the middle. I will swatch them right here. This one yields like more of a fuchsia, and these are exactly that. They are lip tints, so they are kind of like balms, but they feel amazing, very buttery on the skin. They're very soft, so easy to throw in your bag and just have. Gives you a lot of wear time, super cushiony to apply and reapply. It's just beautiful. This is another one. And it sort of like mixes on your lips, so it yields like a different color. This one's more kind of corally peach. The last one I have here is this one. So you see they're all different. I would say like these are very, very similar. The one I'm missing is one that is yellow with a brown in it, and it yields like a very caramel color, a very nudie color. So that might actually suit more people. I have no idea where it is. I'm on the hunt for it, but I really love these, and I don't think I've talked about them on my channel, and they're just gorgeous. They're gorgeous and very nourishing. It matters when your lips are dry that you use products that don't make them drier, that make them really luscious and beautiful. And I just think we don't talk enough about those products. Everyone wants to wear matte lipsticks. What the F? Like, it's so crazy to me. Why? Next product is like one of those products that everyone wants to wear the matte version of this. And I just think the original version is far superior. It is so beautiful and hydrating. It is from the drugstore, and it is the Milani Fetish lipsticks. I have 3 here. It takes everything in me not to purchase every single color because they are that beautiful. I have the shades Lustful, Tied Up, and Nylon, and I will swatch them for you. So these are like a hydrating lipstick. They are pretty opaque, but they have this really beautiful glossy feel to them. So that is Nylon. I think that one's my favorite of them all. This is Tied Up, probably my second favorite. That's this one here. Has a little bit more brown. It's kind of caramel toned. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And last up is Lustful. And this is just a really pretty coral, orangey kind of coral color. So that's these three. They come in a lot more shades out there. Their component is beautiful. I just find it's very prestige feeling. It just feels like a prestige product. They have very much that texture of like YSL Volupte Shine. They're just really nourishing and beautiful, but at a fraction of the cost and without an obnoxious scent or anything. And I just think they're beautiful. And I really don't like the matte version of this. I have tried it in teas and I just thought it was awful. It made my lips look awful. Awful, awful. And I certainly don't want that to be the case. I have two more lip products that I will recommend. This one I did a video on when I purchased my first one. It's by NARS. It's the Soft Matte Lip Balms. These here. These call themselves lip balms, but they're much more pigmented. In that video, which I will link down below, I started my journey with Brief Encounter, which is a warm nude. They do not have a lot of shades in this line. They call it limited edition. I don't understand why NARS does that. They have some of the best lip products I've ever used, some very unique formulations, and they keep just making them limited edition. It's just so flippin' annoying. So that is Brief Encounter there. You see it's more like caramel nude warm. I also then picked up Unrestricted, and that's this one here. You see it's much rosier. Actually on me, if I were to apply Unrestricted, it is literally the color of my lips. This is the color of my lips. So it doesn't even look like I'm wearing anything on. So I actually think I'm gonna give that one to my sister because she has a different complexion. I think it may show up more on her. And the last color I have is Whiplash, and that's this one here. Much toastier than Brief Encounter, but really, really pretty. I just love them. I would love to buy the real chocolatey shade. I think it's called Dangerous Affair, but I'm going to try to hold back and not do that. But I really want to. This formula is super unique. It is not a flat matte. It does feel like a balm. It feels super hydrating. The color stays on. It's just a very, very unique formula. Very unique formula. So if you're curious about hearing more about the formula, please link the video below because I go on and on and on about it, and I'm not going to go on and on about it here. So the last product is a bullet lipstick that I discovered that I really, really love, and it is by Smashbox. Who knew? I didn't know that I was going to love a product by Smashbox this much, not a lipstick. It's called the Legendary Prime and Plush Lipstick. I think that these were reformulated lipsticks, but they come in these tubes here. I have two colors. I will swatch them both for you because they are equally beautiful. I just love them. They are a beautiful formula. So I have the shades Level Up and Higher Self. And I really want the shade Out Loud. Really, really want the shade Out Loud. But this is Higher Self and this is Level Up. And this one here, I compared it to Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk, and I will include a link of that video down below where I think I compared like 27 shades of lipstick to Pillow Talk. And this was one of the ones that was probably most like Pillow Talk, and I just really, really like it. I like the formulation even better than Charlotte Tilbury's lipsticks. It just feels much more nourishing. It's just an easier wear for me and a reapplication for me without my lips cracking or feeling like they're not hydrated. It's just a beautiful, true satin lipstick, and I just think they have a great also shade range, and it's pretty true to the website swatches, so feel confident that you can look at the arm swatches that are shown on their site and know that you're getting the color, which I always appreciate. I find them to be pretty accurate, and I just really love the product. So those are all my lip recommendations. Whew, that was a lot. That was a lot. We are almost at the finale. Next up is eye products and eyeshadows. Let's kick off with boring stuff, which I think are eyebrows and eyelashes, meaning mascara for me because I don't wear false lashes. The two mascaras I think that really stand out to me are the one by e.l.f., which is the Lash It Loud. I don't know why I like this so much, but I do. I do. I found myself repurchasing it. I just like it. It can be kind of pokey if you're not careful because it has one of those like plastic bristles and the shards are pretty sharp, but I don't know. It does lots of nice things to my lashes, which I have very straight, long lashes that point down. I find that it does help them keep their curl and it just looks nice like on the daily. I think it's a really nice formula, special formula. And then this one came into my life very late. So this year, halfway through the year, this is by Benefit. It's the Bad Gal Bang. I think this is a beautiful mascara. I could see why Benefit, you know, has such iconic brow products and mascaras, but I can't say that I've fallen in love with a mascara. That's not true. I think I really like Roller Lash, that one, but not as much as this one. Not as much as this one. I thought this one was really, really pretty and I'm still using it and I really, really like it. For eyebrows, this is a product I've been using forever. What was special about this year was the color I picked up. So this is the Benefit Precisely My Brow. I love this product. It stays put. It is a micro pencil. I just love it. I love it. So I've always used either 3 or 4 or 5. That's the shade. But this year I realized they have gray. They have what they call, I think cool gray, but that's this one here. And it's this color. So it's not like gray, it's more like a taupey gray. And this is beautiful. I use this in combination with my number 5 color to do my eyebrows. I didn't use it today because I used a different eye product. But if you have salt and pepper hair like I do, and you want to soften your eyebrows, this might be a game changer. I don't see a lot of companies come out with a true complementary color for gray, and this is definitely like, I love this. I love this, and I love combining it also with the darker color because it then mimics my own hair. I have very dark hair, but I do have grays, and I like when my eyebrows sort of mimic the same. It just looks super natural and really pretty. So I had to just mention that because it was a big deal for me to find that in my life. Next up, we'll talk about liquid eyeshadows. Not that I was ever like the biggest fan of liquid eyeshadows, but this year I discovered 2 amazing products. The first is the Smashbox Always On eyeshadow. These are the ones. You get a lot of product in this tube. I will link down 2 videos below where I go on and on about them, and I swatch all the shades I have. I have quite a lot of shades. I love the product. It's so easy to use. The smallest amount goes a really long way. Beautiful one and done shades. Just really, really gorgeous. Another product, very similar, but the vibrancy on these is outrageous. Outrageous. I only have 2 shades, and that's these here from About Face Cosmetics. These are called the Fluid Eye Paints, the Matte Fluid Eye Paints. I love these. These are truly blue and dark green, which is so very hard to find these pigments, and it is so long lasting and really easy to use. I will insert a picture of myself wearing the blue. Just incredible pigmentation. I can't say enough about these. You can use them as eyeliners too, and I just love how rich they are. I have a lot of palettes. I acquired a lot of palettes this year. I have a feeling I will be singing the praises of a lot of indie brands at the end of this year, but I acquired so much new products at the end of last year that I can't in good conscience recommend them, though I kind of can. I can't call them a favorite just yet, but so I tried to go back and really look at the eyeshadows that I loved the most, that surprised me the most. Sadly, 2 of these are limited edition and you can't get these, but I will enjoy them nonetheless. The first was this one by Kaleidos. I had never tried Kaleidos makeup before, and when Angelica Nyquist on YouTube, she does beautiful eye looks, very vibrant, colorful eye looks, came out with a palette. I jumped on it. It was the reason for me to try the brand. And this is the palette. What is extraordinary about this is, as colorful as it looks, a lot of these shades here, they're more topper shades, and so it makes it much more wearable. But you can create such gorgeous eye looks. I will insert a picture because I don't think I did this on any film. So I'll insert a picture here of some of the eye looks, and I just think they are extraordinary. Really, really beautiful textures, easy to work with, creamy, buildable. I mean, I could see why folks have really gone crazy for Kaleidos eyeshadow palettes in the past. I regret not picking up some before, but I will enjoy this one immensely and certainly keep my eye open on the brand because I think that the formula is really, really good. Also, the experience of purchasing from them, amazing in terms of how well it was packaged. Came all the way over from China to New York, but it was in an indestructible kind of box and packaged just impeccably. So I would definitely recommend being confident in purchasing from them because I was very, very impressed with that. The next up, we'll kind of get the ones that were limited edition out of the way. This is the Climax palette from NARS. It's this one that they came out with. Again, why NARS creates amazing products and then puts them as limited edition or whatever, it makes no sense to me. But this one here is stunning. This is this muted palette that has these shimmers that are gorgeous, just gorgeous. And I love it. I love these like murky, very wearable shades. This is an immensely wearable palette for me, like on the daily. You can create so many different looks. Lots of one and done shadows in this grouping, just gorgeous. I mean, I would definitely be on the lookout for NARS palettes in the future that are kind of this like 9-pan. I had used their shadows before, but I didn't really care for them. But this one is different. It's special. I really loved it. Now I'm going to recommend 2 palettes that you can actually go out and buy, and I would buy them. This one is super surprising to me. I got it because I just kind of liked the look of it, but I thought, oh, when I actually got it, I was like, this is too dark for me. This is the Wine and Only palette by ColourPop. These shadows look like crazy dark and kind of like one note, but they are not. They're really, really beautiful. I will link down, I did a 1 week, 1 palette with this, and that's what made me really fall in love with this palette. Using it, forcing myself to use it, forcing myself to challenge myself and really create looks out of it, different looks. And I really was impressed with the longevity, with the variety, and just with the color story. At least on my eyes, I have like lighter brown eyes, and I really thought it was such a flattering kind of color for me, and it's not something I ever really explored. And by far, hands down, my favorite palette of the year is the Camouflage Beauty palette by Stila. It's this little guy here. No one talks about it. I will link down a video below where I talk about this palette. It is so beautiful. It is perfectly compact. It reminds me a lot of that NARS palette. I'm going to put them together so you can see, but they're very similar. They're almost complementary, I would say. Like this shade, I feel is very similar to the center shade there. The blue, you know, they're just similar in terms of the kind of grunginess, the tone, the ease of wearing it, the amount of eye looks that you can get, just incredible. You can just easily dust this or any of these mattes on your eyelid and be done and look beautiful for the day. You can then go in with these like really punchy metallics. Some of them are more of a shimmer, but it's just a stunning palette. Really, really beautiful. I did not like the other release so much by Stila. They had one that was in the pink camouflage palette. It was called the Nobility palette. That one didn't have the same quality or even the same kind of tones in it. This one, this is the magic right here. This one is magical. I cannot recommend it enough. It is beautiful. So big mirror, big, easy mirror to use. Super slim, easy to travel. Can't recommend it enough. No one's talking about it. I don't know why. I guess it's because Stila doesn't pay people to talk about their stuff. But I don't think you should have to pay anyone to talk about anything when it is as good as that. So that is essentially it, guys. I don't know. It was sort of a weird year for me again. Like I said, traveled a lot, wasn't at home. So these are truly the products that just stuck out in my mind as being the best of the best for me. Hope you agree. Let me know what products I overlooked or what I should consider getting next year. I think I'm going on a bit of a no-buy for the first 4 months of the year. I just really need to play with a lot of the makeup I got during Black Friday and during the holiday sales, things like that. And if I just have so much coming in, I won't appreciate what I have and play with what I got. So I will be taking a bit of a hiatus, but come April during like the Sephora sale, I'll definitely probably look at buying a couple of things. So if you do have any recommendations of something I'm completely overlooking, let me know. I hope you are kicking off this year, you know, being true to yourself and enjoying some of the products that you have and reflecting on some of the beautiful products you acquired and enjoyed in 2021. And let's make 2022 so much better than last year. Let's do it together. Okay. I can't wait to talk again. We'll see each other soon.